What's going on, everyone, and welcome to the first race of the SLR Gran Turismo GT3 League. And today we are at the Brands Hatch circuit, and they will face the lap 30 times. So just before we get on with the action and the race, let's have a rundown of all the rules and regs of the season. So to start off with the GT3 League, the cars that are available were the Aston Martin V12 Vantage GT3, the BMW M6 GT3, also the Vulcan Horst Motorsport version, the Ferrari 458 Italia GT3, the Lamborghini Hurricane GT3, the Lexus RCF GT3 prototype, the McLaren 650S GT3, the Mercedes AMG GT3, the Porsche 911 GT3, and the Renault Sport RS01 GT3. The max power allowed is 550 horsepower, and the minimum weight is 1,250 kilos. The point system will be working slightly different to our F1 League. First we'll get 10 points, second 8, third 6, fourth 5, 5 4, 6 3, 7 2, and 8 1. The calendar will be as thus. We will be starting at Brands Hatch, 30 laps. Then we'll be after the Nürburgring GP track for 25 laps of that. Lego Maggiore, sorry about the pronunciation, 20 laps of that. Mount Panorama Bathurst will be round 4, 18 laps of that. Suzuka will be 18 laps at round 5. Dragon's Tail will be 25 laps, well, that's round 6. Alsace will be 18 laps. Willow Springs, we have 35 laps of that. Nürburgring Nordschleife, that'll be a very tough one for the drivers, will be 6 laps. And the final round will be at Interlagos, and that'll be 29 laps. Assists allowed, the racing line and auto gears, and also ABS will be allowed as it's on the car in the league. So now let's go and meet the drivers for the league. You'll notice some of them from the F1 League. So starting off with the teams, we've got SLR Motorsport, say no more, run by myself, Nene057, and my teammate for this year will be Alan250781. Very consistent driver, and they'll be a fairly solid partnership, let's say that. And then we've got Maple Racing, which will be That Kid Ives and the 44 Best in the Mercedes, and just say the SLR Motorsport are with the Ferrari. Ding Golfing Racing, sorry about the pronunciations of some of these names. CYP 90 FIFA and Mocky Meeks will be driving the BMW M6 GT3. Also we have Eager Tech Racing with Eager North and Rafael BCN. And finally, our final team actually no, we've got 2 more teams. We've got Olit 500 in his Olit Motorsport team, and we have VB Racing, and that will be Mados and Zametek ZZ. Also, the format of the weekend, we also are running qualifying for this race, but after this race it won't be any qualifying as it doesn't really work for some reason. So we've decided to reverse grids of the finishing order of the past race. So now let's take you on a lap of the Brands Hatch circuit. So here we are for a lap of the Brands Hatch circuit on board of Nene057's Ferrari, and as we go across the line we're going to be looking for the turn 1, basically where the hump is. There we go, and you brake down in 4th. The earlier you brake, carry as much speed as you possibly can in 4th gear, run the curb as much as you like, and as soon as you go under the barriers, go shift down into the Druid hairpin into 2nd gear, and on exit, oh look at that, it's getting really fast on the exit, it's getting really pointy as the Ferrari. Turn it in 3rd gear, you can run the outside curb, it won't bite. And now going into this left-hander, which is very difficult, you shift it down into 3rd gear, late apex, power down as early as you can. As you can see, that's pretty spot on by Nene there. And going down now into the very fast right-hander, top of the hill, and basically shift down twice into 4th gear, run the inside curb as much as you can, and then you will hit the outside curb, a little bit of wheel spin, and then you chuck it in as fast as you can, a little bit short shifting there mid corner, and again pretty similar corner, just keep it on track though. The 4th gear there, and as you can see it's just about on track. And now we're coming on to the back end of the lap, it hits the curb, and the Ferrari does not like that curb whatsoever. But coming down now into the last corner of the Brands Hatch track, going down into 4th gear, just carry as much speed as you possibly can, and you'll be coming up across the line and it's gonna be a 1:23 flat, fairly decent lap there. So let's have a look at the qualifying results for the Brands Hatch Grand Prix. So as you can see, that kid Ives takes pole position, a surprise pole position, and actually CYP is actually down in third after being outqualified by not only Ives but his teammate as well. Very good performance from Mocking Weeks. We have Ollie Ollie in fourth, Zamatek in fifth, Alan in sixth, Eager North seventh, Mados in eighth, and Nene in ninth, despite qualifying fourth, and this is why we abandoned the qualifying for this simple reason. So now let's head over to race with Rotard with the commentary.
If that's oh wait, oh he actually is. As we have that kid Ives on pole position, Maki Weeks in second, CYP in third, Olit in fourth, Semtech in fifth, Alan in sixth, Iger in seventh, and Mados in eighth, Nene in ninth. It's not 5 lights, we don't have 5 lights, but it's go time. That kid Ives makes a fantastic start. Semtech had a really good start from 5th place. Mocking Weeks had crashes, but Semtech making a really good start there, going from 5th to 3rd. There it goes. Everyone is starting the race on 10 kilos of fuel. You see the tank is almost empty, so we're probably going to be up in 1, 2, 3 laps time, depending on the fuel mix these guys. And we have that kid who looks like he's bolting away with the race currently. On the hard tires, you guys don't actually have to start on the tires to bolt. EYP in second, probably looking to go as that kid pits from the lead. It'll be interesting to see if the guys who decide to stay out have enough fuel to make it around again. Everyone but Ives and Mados have decided to stay out for another lap. Walking Wicks looks like he's had a slight incident in turn 1, being that he has rear damage to his car. Which it looks like might have been caused by Alan because he has front damage. Or possibly Iger because he has just everything damaged there. Actually looks like there might have been a big incident. I didn't catch the first corner. Or there's a glitch, of course. That is also possible. We'll probably see the rest of the field coming in this lap. Avoid running out of fuel, of course. Running out of fuel, UIP stays out another lap actually. Running out of fuel in this game is punishes you really hard. Just like the F1 games, only this game you can refuel. As UIP is currently running away with this, it will be interesting to see if that Gidaus gets the undercut on him, being that he probably has free air. Okay. Yeah, he has free air in front. And CYP currently with the fastest lap of the race, with 1:25.8, which is about a second slower than what he did in qualifying, harder tire. What? Not letting me. Didn't want to see it. As CYP pits from the lead, tank is almost empty. And we will have Olit following him, probably with Nene, I would guess, and Alan. That Grives has force pitted already. Interesting to see if he can get the jump on CYP. So CYP has made the undercut work. Will prove advantage towards the end of the race, seeing that not take the full tank of fuel, that's why. As Nene actually has jumped him, but he hasn't taken any fuel. Interesting to see if he runs out actually. He's currently leading CYP, but he's going backwards at a rapid rate. Just that short bit there is closed up almost the entire gap. Obviously CYP doesn't know how much fuel Nene has and will probably looking to get the move done sooner or later. Nathan going to the inside. Or making his way into the pit lane after all. That doesn't show. As CYP has a commanding lead at this point with 11 seconds ahead of Olit, which looks like he's gonna be coming on attack from that Ives soon. Obviously Ives qualifying in pole position is probably looking to get back in the lead. Probably not happy about how the race has gone so far. Sometimes it shows laps later on, sometimes it doesn't. As Valkyraus is keeping... It's not keeping pace, actually it's catching quite rapidly as section here. Then it's dropping slightly back, going purple on the best lap of course. So, currently have CYP, the commanding lead, getting the fastest lap of the race with a 1:24.3, faster than it did in qualifying. I think. That's not fast. Qualifying. Olit in second place, about 12 seconds behind CYP, with that kid Ives actually made a mistake. That's not gonna be happy about that. Of course, turn 1 on this track is difficult to get right every time. It's a very deceiving corner, and the understeer kicks in at the least the worst time possible. He's dropped about 7 seconds because of that half spin. This of course has brought Nathan a lot closer. He's now only 3.3 seconds behind. He'll be looking to catch that back he arrives. It's possible, we'll have to see throughout the race. He of course has less fuel in his car, so should be going quicker. But he also looks to have some sort of damage. The game is telling Alan then slightly behind Nene, 7.6 seconds currently. With Mados closely behind under a second. Who looks to have the pace on Alan. Probably going to be... Oh boy, Nathan's blown up. Nathan's got it all wrong coming in the corner. And he's back down in place. We'll probably see Mados trying to make a move in turn 2 here. Or some of the oh boy, one of the better overtaking over to this track. He was really late on the brake, actually far too late on the brakes, and Alan keeps his position. Nene, of course, who looks like he's taking quite a bit of damage from that incident. Probably start pull back even further. Then we have Semtech in 7th place, who just running some race really. About 8 seconds up to Nene. Nene of course has some damage, so he'll be looking to close that gap. And we have Mockingbix miles behind, 20 seconds behind. In no man's land really. With Iger North even further behind, a full 30 seconds behind last place. He's actually been lapped actually. That's a shame. As CYP has even managed to extend this gap even further. As you see from the lap times, it's about 2nd to 8th tenths a lap faster. I have to say he's doing really well. He'll be coming up to lap Iger North shortly. Lucky Rives, who is currently in 3rd place. Again, another one of these guys in no man's land. 10 seconds up the road to the next car, and about 10 seconds down the next car. Before we find Mados and Alan. Which Mados has managed to get the move, or we didn't catch that. And he's pulling away from Alan. I would say Alan, it looks like, has damage. With Nene actually was closed up significantly. About 4 seconds last saw him. Nathan, of course, looking like he has damage. So might be a glitch in the game. Sure. As Semtech looks to have given up, actually. Decided to do Alonso and get out the lawn chair and just get his tan on. I wonder if it's stereo. Yes, yeah, he's fair to say he's given up. What else to say about that? And he has left the session. All 8 runners you see left now will be scoring points, of course. That chair. Mockingbix has hit like pitted, or either that or he's crashed. Oh, he's pitted. It's actually gone. It looked like judging by the lap times. He's had a crash again. Unfortunate for him. But he's closing down Iger North, who is well, he's, I wouldn't say he's fast, but he's consistent. That is something. Just consistently lapping, keeping his car on the track, and that might prove to give him a strong finishing position in the end. that first finish first, you first have to finish. As Hockey Wicks is closing slightly, then falling behind slightly, with that Giravs coming to lap him. EYB proving ever more dominant, going faster and faster every lap, making it bigger and bigger. It's now almost 19 seconds over Olit. Prefer to say, unless he makes any major strategy mistakes or crashes, or he'll be looking good for the race win. As Greg grows even larger as Olit at turn 1 excursion. That's cost him about 6, 7, 8 seconds. Which plays nicely into the hands of that Giraus, who's coming ever closer to. Nene has hit it again for fresh rubber and more fuel, it would look like. Still does not have bag fuel, and EYP is coming up to lap him once again. That's not happening. But going lap down, obviously that's gonna be bad. I know from what I've heard from Nathan before the race that he was hoping to get a decent finish out of the day. Maybe a second place or something. But hasn't proven to go all that well for him so far. He is currently half a second down from Mados in 5th place. Obviously something special would have to happen for him to catch that. Whether it be strategy or pace or... Oh, and he's almost crashed it again, as CYP has crashed it. Not all that badly. I think call it another mistake, because the gap is currently 29 seconds down to second place. You have to think with the consistency and the gap CYP currently has over second place, obviously 26 seconds is going to disappear unless something special happens. He'll be strong for race win, possibly might even starting to get his shoulders starting to sink a little. Starts feeling good. Just keep lapping. Obviously he doesn't have to push, he has the speed and the advantage over the rest of the field. And I have to say, he's put himself in a really strong position to take the moment. But still, with 17 laps left to go, first thought that still could happen. As we have Olit in second place, who, judging by the lap times, has had a couple of minor incidents in faster laps. But still, 4 seconds ahead of Ives, who looks to be having similar problems of his own here. They're lapping about right. As we go down to 4th, there's another massive gap down to 4th. That Kira is all Of course, being 25 seconds off back it arrives with others at the measure judging how far over just the last Nene unlapping himself actually. Oh! EYP looks to be having engine troubles. Team. That is unfortunate, to say the least. Hopefully he can get this fixed in the pit stop as Malos leaves the race. He will not be scoring points, of course. He has to finish at least 75% of the race distance. As CYP pits from the lead, that incident has taken a massive toll on his lead. It dropped a full 10 seconds. And this might be what Olit needs to take the lead. Seeing that CYP has damage car, of course. That's going to hurt him in pit stop. He exits the pit lane in third position. Closely behind that Kiraev, who is following Olit very closely, I have to say. This is going to get interesting here. With oh, that Kiraev says misses braking point and run wide. That's not gonna be happy about that. So close to actually passing for the actual race lead, and he's gonna be kicking himself. As CYP looks to have had his engine issue resolved in the pit stop. And being that he managed to pull such a big gap on Olit, will probably be looking to be an overtake quite soon. Possibly down the main straight, or even main straight to turn 2, I would think. The Olit defending slightly, getting a bit on the grass, getting a bad run onto the main straight. CYP goes up the inside. And this could end badly. But he gets to move down before the corner, keeps the car on the track position. As Olit tries to go back up the inside, but is not back anything about taking his position back. And even with the engine issue, that CYP is back up into the lead, and he'll be looking to extend that further as well. And obviously with the lead he managed to build before the engine issue, he'll be looking to same again, I would imagine. But Olit isn't disappearing. Still there, is under a second behind, and keeping CYP honest for the moment. Can't make any mistakes, but yeah, as we can see from fuel in the bottom left, Olit has very low on fuel. He'll probably have to pit within the next few laps. That Kiraev actually has a fair bit of fuel left in his car. He might be looking to go to the end of the race actually, regarding that his car's on fall off the cliff. If he can keep this pace up, that might be a strategy he should be looking to do. just try to maintain the gap to UIP. Alan pits from 4th place with the fuel tank basically dry, damage to his car. Interesting to see how much fuel it takes on now. Obviously he didn't change his tires. We would be hoping that he's taken enough fuel to go to the end of the race. Alan of course was in was in 4th position before the pit stop. Still in 4th position, he was in no man's land before the pit stop, about half a minute behind Matt Giraus, and 45 seconds ahead of Nene, and well, with that kind of driving, he's going to stay in 4th position if Nene doesn't get his shit together. As Olit pits from 2nd place. Tank almost drive, that Giraus will get the position. He'll, unless he makes any more mistakes, he'll be looking to keep that position, I hope. I would guess he has fuel to make it to the end. CYP goes. Oh. But that Giraus is finally up in the 2nd place. He probably might have been in the lead at this point. Of course, he didn't make a little bit earlier, but it's racing. It happens. Not every day is your day. As Olit is about 10 seconds behind that Giraus. On fresh tires. That's worth noting. We might have a pace advantage over that Giraus in this last 10-11 laps. But obviously 10 seconds in 11 laps is he might be able to catch him, but he also has to get past him. Let's not forget that. As Eiger North has had crash, which looks to have affected Olit massively. And that is a shame. Might have been looking at a battle. Might have been looking at a battle here for 2nd place towards the end of the race, but being that he had that incident just happens, and looks like he has taken on some damage to his car. Might not enable him to catch the Giraus. Alan in 4th place, just minding his own business, really. The lap times he has is unlikely to catch Olit, but Nene with on this pace might have been able to catch him, but he keeps making mistakes, going off the track, crashing the car. Which shame to see. Still 13 seconds up to Alan. There is a slight chance he'll catch up, but we'll have to wait. Then we have Mocking Weeks in 6th position, being nowhere really. He's 46 seconds behind Nathan, and this hasn't gone his way, has he'll be disappointed. And someone who's had an even worse race will be Eiger North, almost 4 minutes behind CYP. And well, he'll also be hugely disappointed about it. But he will score points, being that he's in 7th place, as Olit has lighted the pit, probably big damage, I would imagine. And interesting to see if he emerges in front of Alan, or if Alan manages to jump him. As Alan has not managed to jump him, and what it looks like with the damage and the slightly more worn tires, he might be able to make a challenge anyway. This is currently the only thing we have on track that we could classify as a battle position, fortunately. But he looks to be falling back. What was this? Oh, as only had a big accident. He's gone exploring into the gravel trap, and that's not what you want to see, is it? As he's had another incident as Nene actually managed to get past as well. There we have CYP coming up to lap him, that's just... And he goes off again. This is just adding insult to injury. Like kicking a man with a broken leg. Just rude. That elevates Alan into third position, which goes to prove that you don't have to be quick as long as you're consistent and keeps the car on the track. But the gap to Nene is becoming smaller and smaller, and it will be interesting to see if Nene can catch him and do something about it. As CYP is coming up to lap Nene as well. Had a dominant race today, CYP. Yeah. Just he really is in a league of his own. See that from how fast he's catching Nene. Providing even if Nene kept the car on the track, probably wouldn't have been able to mount the challenge anyway. Unfortunately. CYP at this point is probably just looking to take the car to the end of the race. Keep the car on the track, keep it consistent, just keep going. As that Girausu might have was in with the chance a couple of laps ago, threw it all away. Alan in third, of course, with almost an entire lap behind that drives. Dropping closer and closer to Nene, actually. Providing our own track. As Olit, who was leading this race not that long ago, actually is now a lap behind. Well, doesn't look like he's catching Nene. I was about to say, and driving like that is not going to catch anything else in the firewall. But oh, Alan's had a mistake, it would look like, as Nene has managed to close all 8 seconds and is in the gravel trap, building sandcastles as you do. But interesting to see if he reports that incident to Stewart, so that is of course. Didn't look like it was forced, but might have been, or it might have just been Nene running by it once again. As the gap is back up to what it... What's happened to Alan? Oh, he's given the position back to Nate. As Olit is going to capitalize on that nice gesture and take fourth position as well. And obviously it's hard to say from my point of view, but Alan might be having some trouble with the car that we don't know about at this point. Seeing that if he was going any more backwards, we go reverse at this point. This is good news, everyone, because we might actually be having a showdown for third position towards the end of the race. He would be fantastic. He would be fantastic. As Oli 2 is, I have to say, has been faster than Nene this race. And he's kept the car more on the track than Nene. Not that that's saying a lot, but he's inching closer and closer to Nene. Obviously the gap coming down the front straight away was 2.5 seconds, and now only 1.5 seconds. Just have to cross our fingers and hope that both of these guys can keep the cars on the track for the last 5-6 laps of the race. That sounded like Nene going into the wall, and he's gone into the wall. Really nothing else to say about it. That's disappointing. Just actually hoping racing. Other than a couple of overtakes into turn 2, it's just been crashing and lapping. But it looks like Nene has taking on some damage from that light scavenger hunt or excursion, or let's just call it a crash. Oh, and Olit has gone off as well, and Nathan has collected Olit, and well, we haven't seen much battling with last few laps, but there's been a lot of crashing and people crashing into each other because they have already crashed and coming up to pass them, and cars not ghosting, and yeah, that's all it has now been lapped by that guys, making this whole even worse for him. Gigamanus breaks his second leg, and all it looks to have taken damage from that shunt from Nene, which is it's unfortunate. As Alan is possibly going to be lapped by that Giraves also. Obviously these guys already have been lapped by CYP. Meant to be exciting. Well, or that depends on. But we have seen more crashes than expected so far. Less racing than expected so far. As all it is, looks like he's just gonna press on damage. Obviously almost at the end of the race. Monkey Weeks is not in any danger of Monkey Weeks catching and overtaking him unless he crashes again. Which At this point, I wouldn't put it past them. We've actually seen everybody crash. Some crashes big, some crashes not so big, and some just building small sandcastles, or people building massive sandcastles. But after all this kerfuffle, we might actually have a battle for third place after all. Look, 4 or 5 laps ago it looked like we would have a battle, then they all crashed, and now it looks like we're going to have a battle anyway. Alan can get his car in, press the accelerator pedal, start catching Nene. If he doesn't, he looks like he'll fall into all its clutches, providing that well, they have to get the car on the track. And we haven't seen that shape. As that Giraus is massively in the lead, only 2 seconds back. Judging from his lap time, he has had slight excursion on lap 25, but nothing too troublesome. The only troublesome, or that might be alarming, is fuel left in that car. We hope to God he doesn't run out, because it's been dominant through the entire race, and well, it's the fastest car on track, and it'd be a shame to lose the race to win to something simple as not putting enough in again. As that Giraus looks to have overfueled this car quite a bit. There's no risk of running out of laps. Nene is in third and is pulling further and further ahead of Alan. Obviously, Nene has damage. Alan has a lot of damage. Bullet has even more damage. Which, yeah. This isn't something we're used to seeing in the F1. Nathan didn't chuck this on me, I just did it. Regretting actually suggesting it. I feel like this was we can call it a mistake, because putting it nicely. As Valkyrie just crossed the line onto the last lap, and we'll stay on board for this last lap. Give him this, actually give him some screen time. Obviously, it's been dominant throughout the entire race. Really, there was no challenge really there. With Valkyrie making the strategy mistake in the beginning, giving him a commanding lead on the early get-go. It looked to be in dire straits when had engine troubles, but those didn't prove to be a problem after all. Valkyrie just crashed a couple of times, and lead was back where it was before he had the issues. Looks to actually have made it on fuel. And that kid, as CYP crosses the line to win the first ever SLR GT Sport League race. Obviously taking the lead in the championship, of course. Ives, who will be taking second place home. I would fucking hope. Can't get it first. Back arrives about to cross the line, take on second place. Standings, of course. Know how this works. As Ole, who at one point was leading this race, comes on to finish in 5th position, and well, he'll be disappointed with that. Most of these people will be, I imagine. Walking Weeks, who has been nowhere the entire race, is the full 3 minutes ahead of Iger North, actually, so this isn't a battle for 6th position, as I hoped it would have been, but he'll come home to take 6th position and help CYP in the Constructor Championship, and Iger North coming home in 7th position, 3 laps down from CYP. That's not what you...
So after the Brands Hatch Grand Prix, the first round of the season, we have CYP, who convincingly took the checkered flag in the end, with that kid Ives finishing second. Couldn't get his advantage off the start, unfortunately for him. Zamtek actually did come third. I know he said that it was in the gravel at one point and just stopped, but he actually did come across the line third. It just like it was a bug, unfortunately. So Nene 57 came 4th, Alan in 5th, Ollit in 6th, Mockimick 7th, Eager North in 8th, and Mados, the only non-point scorer, in 9th. So what does this mean for constructors? It means that Dingolfing Racing are in first, 12 points, with SLR Motorsport in second with 9, and then it gets slightly closer with Maple Racing with 8, VB Racing with 6, Ollit Motorsport with 3, and Eager Tech with 1. So if you enjoyed the video, stick a like on it, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel. The next race will be at the Nürburgring GP circuit, and I've hoped you enjoyed the video today, and I'm Nene57, and I will see you next time. Good night.